Hello everyone, welcome to Jets of Time channel. We got an interesting race today. FalconHit versus Korenth and AzureCale doing a Legacy of Cyrus run using the new beta logic.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty exciting race, I think. And we've got AzureCale's Ghost fighting for the title as well with a VOD he sent in. And I think that'll be really interesting to see, too. We are working on getting the stream updated real quick. And then our racers are all set up to begin tonight's race.
Yeah, we are also joined by Rythrix, who's going to be pressing all of our buttons today, doing the tracking, making sure we know what's going on and how the racers are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank them so much for volunteering. This whole month has been pretty fun with this gauntlet going on and a couple other gauntlets going on. So I'm pretty excited about that. Well, I think we are all set up to begin our race here. And just a reminder, I think it's been said somewhere else publicly, but just a reminder, whoever wins tonight's race of these three racers will have their name added to the credits for specifically Legacy of Cyrus when it gets its new flag soon. So it's going to be pretty interesting. So I am going to go ahead and stop gatekeeping so we can get this race underway. How's volume on everything, guys?
All right, and we have an Ayla and Frog start. So we got one of the characters we need. We need to find Magus somewhere. Then also the two pieces of the Masamune and the Grand Leon.
Yeah, and I do have a document here that goes over the changes being added or that have been made to the new flag for Legacy of Cyrus. So let me pull that up and I'll read out those changes for anybody that hasn't been actively testing out the beta and wants to know more about this new category. So, it forces you to have Magus, Frog, and the Grand Leon in order to do the Northern Ruins. And then it forces those to have been completed and the Masamune to do Magus's castle. Uh, Same with Ozzy's Fort. You have to have finished everything before it'll even let you in the door of Ozzy's Fort. Some of the key items that don't have use in this run have been swapped out for high tier loot. There's no access to the future. That's the biggest change. And then just a reminder, Mount Woe is fully available in this seed, or in LOC, just like normal. So anytime you gain end of time access, you gain access to Mount Woe as well as a check. So the other big change is Pendant, when found, can immediately open sealed chests. Do you think that changes this category a little bit compared to race flags, Aku?
What was that question? I'm sorry, I was watching the runners.
Oh, no, you're fine. I said, do you think having the early pendant charge as soon as you find it, do you think that changes how you play things as far as the sealed chests go in this category?
It does change how I do things because, well, you can get the high-tiered loot faster. And possibly go faster, get things quicker.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, I mean, if you find fire protection or something, it can be massive to be able to have those things for Ozzy or the Magus fight. Just elemental armors, high tier weapons.
You know, while we were talking about the start, we found a bent hilt, bought that at the jerky shop, and the Grand Leon at Carpenter. So we are close to item go mode already.
All right, we see Ghost Azure heading down to grab all the desert loot. A very common strategy to start off with some extra gold or some extra gear if you get a little lucky. Now, anytime I'm starting with a Frog Ayla start in Legacy of Cyrus, I'm questioning a couple things because these two are very strong together if you get dropkick, but otherwise they're not that great.
Ayla is strong enough to one-shot the birds in that first Denadoro mountain fight.
That's true, and Ayla is a strong character, and she pairs well with quite a few characters. But in Legacy of Cyrus, since we know that two of our party members are going to be Frog and Magus, if Ayla doesn't learn triple kick in a run, that can make that team weaker. If she does learn it early, and you get leap slash, they're unstoppable. I mean, they'll do so much damage to all the bosses that you're going to have to fight. It's always interesting. It's always a gamble with them.
Yeah, there's only one boss that does not work on, and that's Hekran.
Yes, absolutely. So that's why it's so nice this seed happened to give us Water 2 as our first tech on Frog, and that is huge. Water 2 also is the fastest Elemental 2 attack. It might be Ice 2. Water 2 is faster than, I think, Fire and Lightning.
I have not timed the second level spells.
Yeah, I know. I think Ice 2 is the fastest, I was told, and Ice or Water 2 can be super fast for Xenon Bridge.
Yeah, a
So
lot of the dead enemies take more damage from water spells.
Yes, and almost nothing has specific resistance to water in this game, because they never really gave you a super powerful mage. Yeah, so if as we're going, since we did do AzureCale's run as a VOD that we're streaming alongside the live race, Azure can answer questions in the chat if anybody wants to pick apart all his play. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you have a question, why'd you choose to do this? You'll have him right there.
Like asking Azure why he didn't grab the Grand Leon already. Grand Leon being the best weapon for Frog and being a key item. And
Yes.
we got Luca.
So, snails, what was the snail stop item?
Snail Stop was Bent Hilt.
Okay. And then
Carpenter had Grand Leon.
and did any of the racers pick up the Grand Leon?
I believe they did.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Azure's picked up any key items. I think some runners have been saving some of those freebie key items until after Cathedral. I've been noticing that on some of the runs.
If I start with Frog, I check those free key items just in case if there is a Grand Leon.
If it's a Grand Leon, I mean, that's a free Yakra. That's like auto-attacking Yakra down at that point.
Yeah. And if you get the hero medal there too, that ups Frog's crit rate.
Nothing feels better than Hero's Medal into Grand Leon in a Legacy of Cyrus run. That is, like, nothing in the world feels better than that, I think. So nice to just all of a sudden have Frog be a super character.
Yeah, and we need Frog through the whole run anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And with the newest update to this flag set, big props to PseudoArk on this, because very quickly he was able to find a way to lock the proper characters into the party while still allowing you to move them around. So it doesn't even look like it's blocking you from doing anything until unless you try to do it wrong. But I'm really happy that got pushed out so quickly.
Yeah, I am happy about that too, because now we can move Robo around for area bomb. And Robo's not just sitting on the sidelines against Hekran or any other boss. And FalconHit and Azure are both going against Yakra. Korenth is halfway through the Cathedral.
Yeah, what slowed Korenth down a little bit? I didn't catch what he did different.
Korenth did the early checks. That's why he's got the Grand Leon.
Oh, I see. So Korenth, He's not going to make up all the time here, but he could actually make up the time on Xenon Bridge pretty easily with a Grand Leon. That's a pretty major boost in damage.
It is going to be a major boost in damage. And Luca starting out with Flare is going to wreck everything as it is.
Oh yeah, a Flare start is so nice. And Azure and FalconHit taking out Yakra in back-to-back finishes as Korenth enters that fight.
And soon we will see who our next character is from the princess spot.
FalconHit facing the hardest boss in the game, opening a chest sometimes when a chest doesn't want to be opened. This game is terrible for that sometimes.
Many times I have to go back. It doesn't take much, but it's those seconds add up.
Oh yeah. Who will we find here?
It is a vanilla Marl.
So this is interesting because we have a couple different meta teams available to us now. We have Luca Frog Magus. We have Ayla Frog Magus. Now we have Marl Frog Magus. But it doesn't look like the seed's gonna make us decide right away who we want to use. So we've got a little more time to decide.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to decide who we all want in our party as a third. And that's all going to depend on how people want to finish. What dual techs with Frog.
Yeah, because really what it comes down to is you're deciding what do I want to have for Magus, and then what am I gonna one shot Ozzy or Slash and Flea with in the fights in Ozzy's fort. Like that's pretty much what it comes down to, right?
Right, it does. And how are you going to take out Magus too? Because that can get kind of tricky.
Yeah, Magus can be tough, especially if you get there early. Yeah, Pseudo Arc in chat saying it's tempting to check Burrow just to see who's there. I completely agree because I play a seed very different if I know if I'm gonna get Magus. Like, because if Magus is in Burrow, you're getting him whenever you find Go mode. Now I don't care about finding Gate Key. Now I don't care about anything except the Go mode items. Whereas if you don't know, you know, it's a bit trickier. Or, yeah, trickier. Alright, now we have Azure grabbing the best bent hilt.
And Korenth is going to show us what's on the bridge. The awesome chef is going to give us a Thomas Pop.
The awesome chef.
Well, I am using that chef for a lot of my emotes too.
I want to be Soda Pop guy in my emotes. New animated emote. Soda Pop guy. I wanted to make, you know, the Doors of Doom attack for Lavos. I won't describe it any other way. The Doors of Doom attack for Lavos. I have an emote of that, and I want to get it made into an animated one, but I think for sure it's gonna get blocked. It's gonna get denied.
More than likely, it will.
And there we see Azure getting his Grand Leon. Korenth about
Yeah.
halfway through the bridge.
Yeah, Korenth wants to keep that Thomas Pop. And
I
which isn't a bad thing to do.
It's not. So one thing with the new LOC that was really interesting is when you take away Pendant as a means of gaining more checks, you all of a sudden end up with some of the side quest type things, like the Prism Shard quest and Thomas Pop, being way more likely to hold something you need.
Yeah, and with Future being locked out, that's 3 whole checks gone.
Mm-hmm. But also, Xenon Bridge has a habit of dropping good stuff. It's a decent amount of XP, if nothing else. It's probably worth it unless it's straight up trash. Like, if it's just a piece of gear or something, you're probably not finishing it. But I think in new LOC, you're almost always going to finish Bridge if it's not Ribbon. Azure petting the cat.
And we can also metagame a little bit more by figuring out what character is locked in the future. Like if Marl is locked in the future, we know the Prism Shard quest cannot hold anything because it's not going to be around. Robo's locked in the future, we can't do Desert.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like right now, I don't think any of the runners have checked who's in Burrow.
No, they
And
have not checked that.
so we don't know who's in Burrow, and we don't know who's in Prehistory, except we know Magus is in one of them. So that could help us make decisions later in this run. Now this seed is the finals of this tournament. Again, whoever wins is going to be added to the LOC credit sequence at the end of the run. But also, this was posted as an async for anybody else to run within the last week. So AzureCale, he did his privately so that we could use the VOD for this, and then me and Aku have both finished our seed as well. We won't talk about our time or anything, but so we do know a few things about this seed, and I thought it was a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, I liked running this seed. And I'm not going to talk about what I did until after everything's done and over. Then we can discuss tactics and whatnot.
Alright, Azure is running through Hecarim Cave. So, FalconHit is starting the Hecarim fight now. And Korenth is going to go turn in the Thomas Pop to unlock Giant's Claw.
Korenth's following progression. It's never a bad thing to do.
Especially in a race. In a race setting, that is one of my favorite things to do, is I'll try to figure out what are most of my opponents going to do. Most of them are going to go through Hecarim Cave. A couple might go to Dinodoro. But Thomas Pop is open, and it's just one big boss fight. If nothing else, I'll probably go unlock it and grab that speed tab if I haven't already. But it'll be interesting to see if Korenth actually heads in, because that is a boss that can be pretty tricky early on. It gets weaker, like you get stronger and able to kill it before it's a threat later. And it looks like Korenth is going to go up and join everyone else in Hecarim Cave.
Yeah, and opening it, then going through Hecarim's Cave is smart to do, because then you don't have to zip through time doing those long screen transitions.
Mm-hmm. Azure grabbing all the experience and tech points they can along the way.
and Tabin holding our bent sword. So we have the items. We just need one character.
And look, FalconHit knows that and is immediately forging the sword to go see who's in Burrow. If it's Magus, we've got go mode. If it's not Magus, we're looking for a gate key. And the hunt will continue. So it'll be really interesting to see what we end up finding here. And we're only 20 minutes into this. You know, almost at 21 minutes. And we could have go mode.
We possibly could, and that'd be a very fast go mode.
That sure would make the Magus fight exciting.
Yeah, it would.
FalconHit turns in that crucial picture to that old man so that he can get back to work. And that's going to get us a few free tabs. The bromide.
And in Burrow, we got Chrono.
You hate to see it. Now, I will say, when Chrono could be a good third character, depending on what techs and weapons you find. But if you find him in Burrow, you're probably not going to use him in LOC, because you're not going to get him until a little too late. But with the buffed X-Strike, I haven't played around with it as much as I'd like to, but I think buffed X-Strike is going to be good for all of Ozzy's Fort.
Yeah, I have not played around with X-Strike at all.
So buffed X-Strike runs it off of Leap Slash instead of Slurp Strike, I think. So it just makes it a little more impactful. Or maybe it went. I'd have to double check what it goes off, but it makes it go off stronger techs for both characters, just to have it have some scalability. Because Frog Chrono really only gets Spire.
Yeah, Spire being lightning based and X-Strike being physical based.
Mm-hmm. And they both would still have value in runs. You know, Spire can definitely come in handy in a few bosses in particular, and X-Strike would be a nice tool to have now too. Azure grabbing his item as well. So he now has everything. Oh, he was grabbing his free loot from Tabin.
Yeah, he grabbed his free weapon. I did not see what it was. And Azure is going to get the awesome delight of Chrono falling down.
Well, FalconHit took a look at their checks and said, well, I guess I'm going to Thomas Pop. I guess I'm going to go get that Thomas Pop.
It's another whole check.
It is. Now, Denadoro is still open. Desert is not going to be available this season. The runners know that. So, really, the only checks are going to be Denadoro or Giant's Claw right now. And it looks like FalconHit's taking the gamble that Thomas Pop will be the correct answer. Or that their opponent won't make that decision.
Well, you're here, you check that item, and it leads to another check. You might as well take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whether you go to Denadoro or straight to Giant's Claw, that's up to you at this point.
Yeah, it is. Denadoro is going to be easier, and probably they're probably about the same amount of time if you don't struggle with the boss in either place.
Yeah, and Grand Leon Frog, he's gonna work those bosses nicely too. And I have not seen Frog's tech list recently, so I don't know where Leap Slash is.
Leap Slash remains unlearned by all of the participants.
Yeah, so their best tech right now is Lucas Flare.
Yeah. And Luca is strong, but she does lose a little value with not bringing any great single target to the table with this team, or with a team that has Magus and Frog.
Yeah, and in a run like this, that doesn't really matter until you get to that final fight.
That's true. It's true. Until you find Magus, you're welcome to use any characters you want.
And all of the fights up until the final one, AoE is good.
Yeah.
Other than Zombor. And even with Zombor, you can do AoE to take out the top and then the bottom.
Yeah, you just don't want to alternate. You're right.
So 2 people going up Denadoro.
Yep, and Korenth heading to hope that Magus is in the burrow. Oh, nope, Korenth has already received the bad news.
Yep.
Korenth is looking straight at Toma's Pop. He's heading into Giant's Claw. And you know what's so funny is Korenth in the racing community is the biggest fan of route divergence, and here he is bringing it to the table as he heads off to Toma's Pop or Giant's Claw, and we'll have to see which route pays off.
And in Korenth's mind, he's possibly thinking this is a deeper check. It might have that progression instead of something else leading you away from the trail.
Yeah, and the best part is, like we said earlier, both of them are valid options. You're going to have an easier time going to Denadoro this quick. Although with Flare, you could probably get through Toma's Pop too. So it's interesting choices.
It is, and there are 3 power tabs in Giant's Claw to pick up.
Now there's a speed tab and a magic tab on Denadoro. So a speed tab is huge. So they're both very valid plays. I love it.
And in this run, Korenth found a speed belt, which is more than the speed tab. Just an accessory spot.
Yeah.
And we got the Masa Amune fight going on in Azure's side. As FalconHit is just starting that fight.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with chat, and I keep chuckling because Azure keeps putting really funny things in chat about things he did that he wished he didn't. He said he skipped bridge like an idiot stuck in boss rando routing. Because in boss rando, as I understand it, Xenon Bridge is a dangerous place that many die.
Yeah, you can find a lava spawn there or a mutant there instead of Zombor and Boss Rando. And most of the time, they will just destroy you.
Yeah. Korenth starting that fight against the Rust Tyranno.
And with Rust Tyranno, you got, I think, 5 or 6 rounds before he does his one attack that basically nukes your party.
Yeah, and usually you don't see it, so if you ever see it, it was not a good fight, and you might not be okay. Massa and Mune go down for AzureCale. And FalconHit is still in that fight. So Azure made up a little bit of time there.
The Flare, Rock Toss, those are good, strong techs. And Frog with Grand Leon.
Yeah.
But
Falcon did Bridge, too.
Yeah, so, Falcon did do Bridge.
So it depends what Azure finds here. Oh, it's jerky. Oh. How do you feel getting jerky after that climb?
So Korenth looks like he just sidestepped ahead.
Yeah, because that means that does not lead to progression at all. So that means Korenth has to lead to progression.
Yeah, this could be the Hero's Medal or the Gate Key.
Azure heading to Xenon Bridge. He's going to be one bridge behind FalconHit. And Korenth is going to be one Giant's Claw and Thomas Pop animation ahead of FalconHit.
As Korenth does beat up that big Rust Tyranno. And we'll see what this progression is. It is a Hero's Medal.
Now, that sounds like it would be a terrible, terrible thing. But you know where everything is now. At this phase, you know that has to lead to Gate Key. And Gate Key has to lead to Prism. Or I guess it could be the opposite. It could be Prism Shard into Gate Key. There's nothing that could stop you. New! Korenth finds the new. Well, we're about to find out. Yeah, Jerky was a haste helm, and that's our gate key for Korenth. Korenth does not have go mode yet, but he has all the tools, and as soon as Magus's name box comes up, he will have official go mode.
Yeah, and having a haste helm will help out because you don't have to waste that time hasting someone. They just have haste.
Does the haste helm affect your party decision? Do you look at the haste helm as an opportunity to have, like, say, Luca and not need as many speed tabs? Still be able to put one on Magus or one on Frog or something?
I generally put the speed tabs on a slightly faster person and the haste helm on the slowest.
Okay.
Mainly because then the slower person keeps up with the faster person after that first round of attacks.
Korenth heading back to Medina Village to grab his time machine. And like I said, he is officially one Giant's Claw ahead of FalconHit. And about to head to get his last character. And this is at 35 minutes. So most runners are going to take a couple minutes to go up Dactyl Nest. And then Magus Castle is not a short dungeon. It's, somewhere
Azure
between
trying
20 and
to
30
show
minutes.
us, or Azure trying to show us why you do not want to take out the bottom of Zombor first. Oh, then still takes out the top in fast order. Yeah, the top will wreck your day if you don't take it out fast enough after the bottom is gone.
Yeah, it's rough. It can really cause troubles.
And Rythrix has a question. Yes, you can toss the top if the bottom is alive.
Korenth.
That is one way I take out that boss fight.
Korenth only getting 1 pixel over on that one. There he goes. Sprinting up Dactyl Nest to grab Magus. That's going to give him go mode. And he will be off to... he'll be off to Cyrus' grave at the Northern Ruins, Magus' castle, and Ozzy's fort.
Yeah, I don't think Korenth knows the second skip up there.
I think he does. He must have just misclicked through it. I know I've seen him do it.
Yeah, he just ran straight to that ladder.
He did. He definitely did.
And yes, this is Korenth's race to lose at this point. Because now is a quick run through Magus Castle. And then Ozzy's fort.
Now, it is a pretty noticeable amount of time that he's ahead. But he did miss out on some XP and tech points. I'm not saying it's enough to make the difference, but it could make for a couple tighter fights.
And making sure he's bringing Magus with him to Northern Ruins to hopefully give Magus some tech points and some experience.
Yeah, and let's not even talk about triple grudge being a thing. Oh, it's the bane of this category, is the triple grudge, where these ghosts that Korenth's fighting here, they have a chance to steal a bunch of health or a bunch of magic or MP from you. And there's one fight in particular where there's 4 of them, and if you just get bad luck, you're going to lose a big chunk of health from all 3 of them, or all 4 of them. But 3 will usually kill you. If you don't have a robo, it'll probably kill you.
Yeah, when I ran through this seed, I did get that triple grudge. So I had to go through this twice.
I killed them single file. I did fire 1 and water 1.
Which is not a bad thing to do. I just go all out and deal with it.
Sometimes I'll kill 2 of them and then AoE the last 2. As long as I've still got 3 people up. But it just depends. Do you want to be safe or do you want to have fun and go fast? Because that's the question.
Well, there's 2 grudges, and that's all he's going to see is those 2.
Oh! Yep, because they go left to right. You told me that.
Yes.
But if 1 more had grudged, he'd be starting this whole place over.
He would have been.
And there's nothing you can do about it. There's you can't even do the first 2 and then save. No, just well, that's unfortunate. Azure about to start that fight against the Rust Tyranno, as Korenth gets the Carpenter back to work.
Falcon just got his gate key. Korenth getting the carpenters to work again for the second time.
Yes.
Because to fix the whole northern ruins, it's 4,000 gold you have to give them. To fix left side, it's 2,000. And that's all we care about is that left side.
Can we talk about how this carpenter is charging that much money while at the same time I had to supply the tools to him?
And the carpenter's not even looking for his tools. He's just at the bar drinking.
Oh, you're paying for the expertise.
And you have to fight the monsters there too.
Yeah, like he doesn't even there's like 14 of them. Why can't they beat up some ghosts? They can take some grudges. Yeah, the soda is just that good, Aku. Now Korenth is doing the Cyrus's Grave quest here. This gives Frog 10 power and 2 speed for the rest of the run. And now Korenth is all set to go to Magus's castle.
Yeah, and this is the point I like to say is true go mode in this setting. Because you could go through Northern Ruins without Magus. And just go through it with Frog.
You can't.
Early.
I don't think you can now.
Okay.
Yep, so you do have to have both when you go into the ruins now.
Okay. I thought it was just Magus Castle and later on stuff.
Nope, you don't need all the key items, but you do have to have both characters.
Okay.
Korenth starting the Magic Cave cutscene, maintaining a lead of quite a bit. I mean, FalconHit is going to be one Northern Ruins behind now. So I think he's maintaining his lead.
FalconHit tried to get that skip, but failed it spectacularly.
Yeah, I've been using a new method for that I understand Azure stole from me and used against me in this very race. So everybody give mad emotes in chat for that.
Is it running up to the mountain rock
no,
wall and coming down?
I use the heart-shaped area below the ladder. There's like a heart-shaped cutout area, and I put the character's feet in a certain spot. It only works with the girls. But
okay.
I started doing it with Ayla in Ice Age runs. And then I jokingly told Azure it was going to end up being called Cthulhu Feet somehow. That's what the setup's going to end up being called somehow. Azure running through the time travel shenanigans to avoid running down the mountain there. And that'll get him going along to get Magus, as FalconHit heads in and hopes for no triple grudge.
Well, got 2 grudges there. Korenth just got done setting up left and right side Magus Castle to start the fights.
All right, will FalconHit get triple grudged? Come on. I mean, you hate to see it, but you gotta see it happen to somebody else, so you know it's not just you. First one,
Yeah.
MP Buster, furthest left. Will the second guy do anything? Oh, he gets off with
Nope.
one grudge.
We still have Azure to go through that fight.
Yes. So we will have to see. So, like, watch Azure's screen here. You run up the side of the mountain, you run down, there's that little heart cut out in the heart there. You get the feet 1 pixel off of that heart cutout. And then that'll line Ayla up every time.
And how Azure does that, or did that, is how I do that skip.
Yeah, I just the old way I was always taught was to try to just get the right number of pixels over, but now I've got a visual cue I can look at to make sure I'm in the right spot. That's the only difference. It just gives you a way to check you're in the right spot. Yeah, I hope Azure gets 7 grudges.
The first 2, then the next 2, then 3.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Going up
Korenth.
against Slash on Korenth's side.
Yep. And best thing he's got, he decided to keep Ayla. It looks like everyone's decided to keep Ayla. That was surprising to me. I actually thought there was an argument to be made for a few different characters in this scene.
Well, with Slash, you want to do more physical type damage because he has higher magic defense.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just wondering, are all 3 runners going to maintain this team through the end game?
I would assume so because my personal preference is going to Magus' castle with my final team.
Yeah, that's what I prefer as well.
And Azure is going through his sentry fights.
Yeah, this is a scary part of the run because it's a couple minutes time loss if you just go for it. It could lose you a couple minutes. It usually won't, but does that mean you're going to tack on an extra 30 seconds in the fight to make sure you don't lose 2 minutes? Or are you just going to gamble it out? And let's see.
Yeah, me, I like to gamble it out and hope I don't lose time.
I just always make sure I save. Ooh, grudge on the first one.
They all got grudge on the first one.
Oh, grudge on the fourth one. Azure survives. Now, Korenth, some of the newer players may not know, Korenth was the runner-up of the first official tournament that was kind of lovingly called the Chrono Cup. Korenth was the runner-up of that whole tournament. Korenth is an incredibly skilled runner. So, to see him sprinting through this seed as well as he is right now, as he starts this fight against Flea, I'm pretty excited to see if he maintains it, because we see FalconHit just, what, a boss and a half behind?
Yeah, it's about a boss and a half behind.
FalconHit fights that boss again, that chest boss, does not get the chest, and then says, well, I've got another shot at it on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
and with these rooms, you go by those chests several times.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Cyrus Grave going down for Azure now. And then he will be following the other runners into Magus's castle.
As Korenth finishes flee. So Korenth can now go further into the castle.
There's that dark matter pole on Magus, too. That's awful nice, except it's not going to be useful until the boss, pretty much. Because most of the stuff here is not going to take too much from dark matter.
Yeah, several enemies absorb shadow damage here in this castle. And some take no damage from fire. The only element that is guaranteed is water.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that does play into your decision a little bit, I think, here, of who else to take. You know,
Me, I like to have a mix of elements going in.
yeah, usually that's what I like too, especially if you can cover more things with dual tech sometimes too. Like if you don't have Magus in a normal seed, it can be nice to have dual techs like Antipode that count as darkness.
And for here, having Marl in your party, you have Ice Water and Glacier.
Yeah, and both of those techs are pretty strong actually. And because Frog's speed is so good and Ayla's speed is so good, usually if you were taking Marl, I mean, you'd be giving most of the speed to her. With that speed belt and or haste helm, could be pretty nice to get those ice waters, and they will one shot most of the encounters in Magus's castle. And then Glacier is invaluable as a single target spell, single
Yeah,
target dual tech.
it is just the sorcerers that absorb water.
Yes.
And they are not hard to take care of with a Grand Leon Frog.
Yeah, exactly. Korenth sprinting through. Now he gets that second Magus unlock that you need to see. He gets anti-life. So dark matter and anti-life, that's everything you're going to need for the rest of this run on Magus.
I need to use anti-life a bit more than what I am using it.
Yeah, it can be hugely important, especially knowing that Magus lets down his guard at 4,500 health. Just a simple damage calculation can make sure that anti-life will be the finishing move for that fight. That's how I tend to use anti-life, is I use it as an execute. Once I know that it's going to do enough damage to finish, that's when I use it. That way I don't have to worry about reviving.
Yeah, that's what scares me a lot from using it is now I have a down character and after I revive him, the bar has to come back up.
Korenth did fall down the pit. Now, there are some chests down here, so sometimes people will do it intentionally, or they'll come down to have the save point, or they want the extra XP or tech points. I tend to always try to skip this, and usually I'm successful in doing that. But I've played a stupid amount of these seeds at this point, so...
Yeah, for me to go down here, it's on purpose.
Yeah. Did you go down in your seed?
No, I did not.
I did not either.
Yeah, if I fall on accident, I'm having a rough day already.
I just go, really?
Like other things that are happening or happen during the day.
Korenth with about the best, what I call Donkey Kong 2 room. I call this DK, the Donkey Kong 2 room, and the first one Donkey Kong 1 room. But Korenth doing about a perfect Donkey Kong 2 DK2 screen.
All of our runners are in Magus Castle at different points. FalconHit and Azure are both in the first two bosses of the castle.
Yeah, and we're only at about 57 minutes. And we've got Korenth most of the way through Magus's castle. So there's I'm seeing sub 130 happening for sure. Which a sub 130 is a good time for LOC.
It is a good time, and that's what I would expect from people that have earned to be on stream here at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of us competed. We both competed and submitted times for the gauntlet, and I think you beat me in every race. I'm pretty sure you beat me in every race, but it was a lot of fun. Now, we see Korenth fighting the jugglers. My favorite strat for the jugglers is I'll put in, like, dark matter, frog squash, and then I'll use, like, I think I had Luca. I took Luca through the end of this seed, and I was using Flare with her. But I really like frog squash because it just instantly takes it hits them for physical damage, which switches them back to magic, being vulnerable to magic. So I find Frog Squash to be a really fast way to get through that.
Yeah, that would be a fast way to switch them back to being vulnerable to magic again.
Mm-hmm. As Korenth runs through the statue room.
And Azure, I think, is grinding a little bit.
Yeah, it did look that way.
Which is not bad to do. We're here early. Need some levels.
Yeah, I think it's easy to watch a race like this and feel like Azure or FalconHit are like behind or slow or something like that, and that's just not the case. These are all three incredible times. Korenth just has that edge in this particular race since he didn't go do Dinodoro. You know, that made a pretty big difference for his time. But all three of these times are spectacular so far. I mean, we're coming in on right about an hour, and all three runners have go mode and are at least partway through Magus' Castle.
And by not going through Denadoro, Korenth did not get those experience points from the Masamune fight.
That's true.
And the main boss coming up here with Megas, all depending on how you deal with the triple Aussie fight.
Ooh, Frog taking a short nap during the Rainbow Storm from Flea on AzureCale's screen here.
Well, he'll wake up. And he does.
Oh, now he's poisoned. Man, Frog's having a rough day.
And Ayla's biting him because she likes frog legs.
Well, who doesn't?
And Korenth will show us who is Magus and what element he's going to be. Actually, that has not become a thing yet. There's been talks about whoever's in the future will be the Magus fight.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, I think. I always wanted, they always had a couple of, the fan-made games for this series. I still stand by, I would love one where you play as a team of Ozzy, and Flea through some shenanigans for a little while. Just a couple hours. I think that'd be so much fun.
Kind of like in Chrono Cross where you play as Link.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for Chrono Cross. we can't start this conversation. I'm too excited about this game. They took out the one thing that made me not replay it all the time, which was how slow the common encounters are. And that's going to be optional. So I'm so excited.
And FalconHit
Ayla
just about
Magus
caught up to Korenth. Because Korenth saw that was Ayla and said, no, I'm going to reset and see what I have.
Yeah. Ayla can actually be really tough in this fight.
Well, her ultimate is non-elemental damage. I don't know if it's considered physical or just non-elemental magic. But it wrecks.
Yeah. She just does so much damage.
And all three have brought Ayla in. And I'm with you, Cthulhu. I brought Luca with me.
I brought Luca with me too, because she was perfect and it didn't look like... So, here's the thing. To get Dropkick in a Legacy of Cyrus seed, you have to pull Ayla's second most powerful tech and Frog's second most powerful tech. If I don't have either of them as I'm entering Go mode, I'm probably not going to learn them both. So, but if you do learn it, Dropkick is amazingly strong. So it's really hard. You really have to keep a close eye on your tech menu. Because like I said, if you get it, Dropkick will easily do, 3k damage. With the right gear and stuff. 3 or 4k damage.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, Grand Hero Frog, it jumps that number up.
Azure making the educated decision and purposeful decision to jump down this pit and get the chests.
Korenth taking a reset because Ayla did her ultimate. And FalconHit getting through the fight.
Oh, wow. That's crazy how that turned around off
It
that
is.
one wipe. We talk about being, a boss and a half ahead when FalconHit ran into Magus's castle to one wipe at the end of the Ayla fight, knocking Korenth down. This is a race.
It is a race. And Azure wanted to drop down and check out his ankles for a second time.
Well, you sometimes you aren't sure if there's going to be more chests the second time. Because what if the chest guy came by and refilled them? I poke fun at Azure. He is so much better at the game than I am. It's ridiculous. So I hope he knows it's all in love and fun. I would hope somebody would make fun of me too. Well executed DK2 room by Azure. Yeah, DK2 went great. It's catching on. It's catching on is what I'm saying.
And we got Flea Plus on Falcon's side.
So I did think about switching in Marl. I never once considered throwing Chrono in. But I
did not even pick up Chrono.
I looked at Ayla, Marl, and Luca, and I was like, these are all good options. I'm leaning towards Ayla, but then by time I got far enough where I got Magus, I was like, man, there's really nothing else I need out of Luca. So I think I keep Luca. Like he had Flare, Fire 2, and Protect, and I'm like, well, that's all I need out of her. Now Korenth getting through Magus's castle, beating Magus as FalconHit heads in to the next section of Ozzy's fort.
Yeah, and Ozzy's Fort Gauntlet taking a wipe to that triple boss fight at the end is the worst. Because you gotta redo these fights, get back there, and that little cutscene before that room. And these fights aren't that bad to get through. They only have 2,000 or 3,000 hit points. And it doesn't get hard until you get to that triple boss fight. And there's no way to skip this little cutscene with Ozzy.
Alright, and we have FalconHit heading into what is pretty much the final boss of this run. Now this boss is actually pretty interesting. So there's 3 members in this boss, and you typically want to kill either Flea or Slash first. Whoever you attack, you typically get counterattacked by, and if you do an AoE, you get like pretty much a triple tech used against you.
Yeah, I think that is Ozzy's counterattack. Is that?
Yeah. But FalconHit's got that fire protection on Ayla, which is going to protect her from the counterattack that Slash uses.
Yeah, he's got red mail or red vest on Ayla and Frog.
That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to see in this situation.
Took out Slash, so Flea runs away, and Ozzy just sits there.
Yeah. Now, the run does not end at the end of this fight. No, no, no. How much longer do we have to go on this, Aku?
About 2 more minutes after this fight.
Because we gotta go put an end to Ozzy.
Ozzy loves to run away.
And we may even need the help of an outside party member to take Ozzy down. In the form of the cat that Azure pet earlier. So FalconHit attacking the switch. This is pretty much the last part that you can mess up of this run. And we're about to see FalconHit's time get called here. Oh, and the reset from Azure. And now it's as soon as the cat flips the switch is when the time stops here. And we're going to get the official timing here.
Yeah, that is a GG to Falcon. With a race time of 1:12:09.
Ku being the best at this ever. Grabbing the time and plugging it in. That's a great time for this seed. It
That
really is. That's a great finish. So hopefully we'll be able to get FalconHit in for a moment. I'm not sure if they have voice chat or anything. I will see if they'd care to join us. But you do get to see the ending play out.
And I like this ending because it's one of the frog endings.
I actually picked this ending. And I liked it because it had frog parts and magus parts to it. Alright, I'm going to bring him in.
Alright.
FalconHit, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
How did the seed go?
There was an interesting part where I had both Luca and Ayla, and they were both good, right?
Yeah.
So I prioritized a physical striker for the early parts of Magus Castle. And I was just like banking on Magus just having good techs. Because I knew Magus was going to be in Gateki, right? Behind Gateki.
Uh-huh.
So he's going to be last, so I wouldn't have time to like tech train.
Sure.
So I was like, well, I hope Ayla is... So in my mind, the first two fights were going to be at the front of Magus Castle were going to be the most difficult part, so I wanted a physical attacker.
Okay.
Also, bad menuing at the end. I'm mildly upset at myself.
Oh, I wouldn't be too upset. That was a fantastic time. You beat me by, I think, about 20 minutes or so, give or take. So that was a pretty good time, and a really solid run. there were a couple things that confused me for a minute. So I noticed you went back and did Xenon Bridge to get the Thomas Pop, and then you checked Dinodoro. Was that a situation where, like, it didn't click in your head that Dinodoro was an option, or was it just kind of having a plan B if what you needed wasn't there?
It was more of a plan B, but I kind of felt that, well, you're right that I probably should have done Dinodoro. I should have done Dinodoro before Bridge, because if it was there, then it was correct. But, yeah, it was, well, it's in one of two places, and then if it's here, then it's okay, and if it's the other one, then it's probably okay. Also,
And-
I didn't feel that my team was strong enough to beat Black Tyranno, even though I had, like, a bunch of stuff, but...
Oh yeah, that Rust Tyranno can be tough, but he's a really difficult one to look at your party and be like, I'm strong enough to beat him, because it's just a damage race. If you kill him before his countdown ends, you're good. If he uses his move, we talked about this during the run. If he uses his countdown move, you're probably in trouble. Almost, unless you're super high level, you're probably in danger.
Because I didn't have, like, good consistent damage, because A-list tech was Rock Throw, which doesn't work on Black Tyranno, of course. The thing that really saved me was the Rage Band in Denadoro, because that that was like half of my DPS.
Oh, you found a Rage Band in Dinodoro.
Yeah.
I so wish I had gone up Dinodoro now, because Restreamer was so tight.
Yeah,
It was.
That's what I felt. But when I got the Rage Band, I was like, oh, easy.
Yeah.
And Korenth, I want to tell both of you guys this. So when FalconHit started Magus's Castle, Korenth was 1.5 bosses ahead. So he had already finished Slash, and you were halfway through the flea fight, give or take.
Did
you were
already
part
have
of the way
Dark
in.
Matter on Magus?
I unlocked it after the flea fight.
Okay, I did too. I was like,
Yep.
that's what it's gonna be. Is you're gonna have Dark Matter for Flea.
Korenth, it was your wipe.
Oh, yeah. and then I wiped on literally the last hit to Magus.
Oh,
It was so close. But such a close match. I mean, a little over 2.5 minutes between the two of you.
Yeah, that's a Magus fight. That's it.
Yeah, that's a Magus
Although,
fight.
If you caught Dinodoro, I'm kind of disappointed. Because that's a whole dungeon I should have had on you.
Yeah, Korenth went straight to Thomas Pop.
Oh, makes sense.
But
my-
I got countdown to 1.
My Magus Castle was immaculate.
Oh, no, I fell in the trap room, the hidden pits. I fell.
I got
And-
literally every single skip that you wanted to get, that I
Yeah.
would have wanted to
And
get.
then I forgot to equip the Massamoon before I started the fight.
Korenth, no joke. You need to go back through your clip or through your stream today, and you need to clip your DK2 room, because it was perfect. That second kind of 2D, what I call Donkey Kong section in Magus's
yeah.
Castle, it was perfect. Like, you need to clip that and make that available to people. But I kind of have jokingly been calling it the DK2 room.
No, I follow that. But, GG Falcon.
GG.
2 minutes. We are right in step with where we usually are.
Yeah, you guys, you were within a couple minutes in every race of the gauntlet, I think.
And all the asyncs we've had on the Discord and everything, we're within 2 minutes of on just about everything. Too bad
And-
it's always the one up front.
None of the async runners came close to your time overall. Like,
Oh,
I think most of the async runners, myself and Aku included, finished about the 130 mark. or
this
so.
This is a tough seed if you're not really, really confident in everything you have in your.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
Takenu
be
got a
good at
121. That was the closest.
one.
Was Takenu.
What was your final party?
Ayla Frog Magus.
Oh, same.
Yeah. everybody today brought that team. I really thought there was an argument to be made for Luca and Marl. Marl was early enough that I'm surprised nobody grabbed her.
Marl had Ice 2,
And haste.
had Haste, and had Ice 2 as her first unlock.
Uh-huh.
And I almost put her in, except I waited until I was through all of the fights in Hecarim Cave. And then I checked her techs. If I had checked her techs before Hecarim Cave, so she would have gotten the 50 tech points, I would have kept Marl, actually, to do, like, Hasted Frog.
If she had had Ice...
Magus.
If she had had Ice and Ice 2, I would have switched to her. Because that would have given me Ice Water and eventually Glacier.
Oh, no, if I had seen it before I ran through the fights in Hecarim Cave, I would have swapped. I can't believe I'm saying I would have put Marl in the party, but...
I also...
Marl in the party.
If Chrono was anywhere besides where he was, I would have considered him. I think, with the buffed X-Strike.
Yeah, I don't think there's any good weapons for him, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you found, unless you did an extra dungeon somewhere.
No, there was. I think the best thing I had was a Darksaber.
Now, Aku, you did an extra dungeon, didn't you?
I did Reptite Layer.
Just from autopilot, you said you ran straight to
Yeah.
Reptite, and you got a haste helm and something else from there, right?
I don't remember what else was there, but yeah, there was another haste helm there.
Wait, another haste helm? What was the first haste helm?
That was Jerky on Denadoro. And
yeah. Yeah, you didn't get that.
I did.
Because a haste helm would have been sweet.
Haste helm was sweet.
And we are seeing the end of AzureCale's run right now.
I also brought Luca in with mine.
Yeah, I did too.
And I used
Flare start. I was like, I've got everything I need.
I'll admit, I was really afraid when we picked up Magus and he was going to be the last character we picked up after we were in go mode, that he wasn't going to know anti-life. He didn't know anti-life. What if anti-life is the last tech in the tree? What if lightning and fire are low in the tree? What if we have to do, like, non-elemental bullcrap on Magus?
Yeah, that was in the back of my mind. I was like, oh man, I had this whole contingency plan where I would have brought in Luca instead of Ayla, and then just had like
because that gives you at least 2 elements.
Yeah, for good elemental coverage, and then I was like, oh, but then he learned anti-life, and then everything
you're
was
like, oh, okay, never mind, we're good. Did I buy enough revives during the 30 minutes where there were no ethers?
I found ethers. They were at Melikor's hut.
Yep, Melchior had them.
Melchior had ethers. Okay, I found them at the shop above the 680 Carpenter.
Yeah, what was funny is I just checked him because I happened to be passing by, and I didn't realize that was the only shop that or one of the only shops that had them. I just happened to walk into it, you know.
Now, that caught the tail end of my initial shopping circuit, because it's check all the shops except for that one and Melchior, to Cathedral, and then go back and check that one on like your way to Denadoro and or Hecarim's Cave or whatever else your next check is. And that gets all your checks in a cycle without having to zoom out. But, man, I was really afraid we're going to have like a 0 ether run.
Yeah, my heart was sinking, and then I checked, because my endpoint is the speed tap magic tap in the Magic Village, and then I was like, oh, yes.
So I've boosted Azure's stream up a little bit to show off this ending, because funny enough, FalconHit will now be added to this ending, which I was kind of laughing about that being a possibility because it's already text used in game. I just thought that was kind of funny. But so this ending that's playing now, there's a section coming up where Magus calls out, and we're going to see you added to that.
Nice.
So Magus is going to fight FalconHit instead of Lavos.
Yes. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. But I appreciate you guys hanging out and playing all the seeds this month. Everybody that played, we had a lot of people do all 3 of the seeds, so that was a lot of fun. But definitely, if you guys are interested at all in checking out the game, definitely click the link they just shared in chat. We have a great community. We do a lot to help each other out and get new players up to speed. And everybody did great times this whole event.
Yeah, definitely come join. There's another gauntlet that's already going on, and we've got weekly races. So if you're interested at all, come join in. We will give you all the info you need.
Right. Right there. Sorry, I started coughing. Right there. So be watching or be on the lookout for that. But I really appreciate everybody that helped out with this. Takenu did a bunch of stuff to help me get set up, and we'll post some more graphs tomorrow that'll show this last week's results for everybody. And thank you to the runners. Thank you to Aku and our tracker for just so much stuff that I could not have done by myself. So thank you so much for everybody that helped out with all of this.
Yeah, big thanks to everyone. Thanks to the Restreamers.
And just like usual, Chrono showing up too late to be used in the party. In chat right. There. So Chrono is always around in the Jets of Time streams, just doing the best he can. So, but thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out, and we will have more events going on in the future. So keep your eyes open for that. Again, the final times for everybody. We had a 1:12:09 from FalconHit. Korenth right behind him with a 1:14:53, and Azure with the 1:22. So you guys all have a great night, and I will catch you next time.